This is why UFC fighters are actually scared of Islam Makhachev.
Islam's choke must be otherworldly.
I feel he's even more dangerous than Khabib was during his prime.
Turns out he's still the champion, but he's also the greatest lightweight fighter that the UFC has ever seen.
Ever since he became the lightweight champion back in 2022, Islam Makhachev has continued to tear through every contender he's faced, has become one of the scariest forces the UFC has ever seen, and is now the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. But the fear didn't start with the belt, it started the moment he began running through seasoned fighters like they were warm-up drills, and one of the first guys to experience this was Drew Dober back in 2021. When they were booked to fight at UFC 259, a lot of people thought Dober would expose Makhachev's chin, which some believed was weak, but Dober knew just how scary the Dagestani was.
Is he deserving of this hype, as some people say, future champion?
I mean, technically, he's super technically sound. I think he's a little bit more methodical than Khabib. And so I could see where the hype and the respect comes from. Do I entirely believe that it's he earned it or are people giving it to him? I'm not quite sure. So I get to see his temperament and his personality come weigh-ins, and then the first round of that fight, I get to see truly if he lives up to that hype. I think he's overall a great martial artist, and when I make him uncomfortable, I want to see what kind of mistakes he decides to make.
Makhachev shuts the doubters up by putting on a grappling clinic. He took Dober down early in every round and continuously smothered him on the ground. To be fair though, Dober fought hard and held on longer than most would. But in the third round, Islam sealed the deal with an arm triangle, showing that the hype wasn't just real, it was undeniable.
Islam Makhachev submits Drew Dober.
Wow. Wow.
I try to finish him first round, but this is not my plan. I just make him tired first and finish him. That's why, like, first round and second round, I like take him down, make him work. He like push me, and he's tired. That's why, like, choke very easy.
After his win over Dober, Makhachev shortly after headlined his first ever UFC main event against Thiago Moises, who he dominated and submitted in the 4th round. But despite the dominant performance, top contender Dan Hooker wasn't impressed and said that he would be the guy to put an end to the Makhachev hype.
I would want that fight to be a 5-rounder for sure. And I think that's like 2.5 rounds of defending takedowns and scrambling back to my feet. But then once I'm back up there, I feel like I put his lights out.
Shortly after, the two got booked for UFC 267 and Hooker took it to the extreme, saying he was ready to die in the octagon if that's what it took to stop Islam.
I'm willing to die inside the octagon, and that's proven. People can say whatever they're going to say, like, oh, this guy's unbeatable, this guy's untouchable. I've been in the gym with these guys, you know, like, they all bleed. They all get tired, they all get injured, they all get hurt, and I know I can put anyone's lights out. So to everyone else, he's kind of a mysterious character that's like got a lot of mystique and invincibility. To me, he's just another body.
Inside the cage, Hooker couldn't even touch Makhachev on the feet, and he had no answer for the relentless grappling. Just 2 minutes into the first round, Makhachev dragged Hooker down to the mat, where he quickly locked in a Kimura, causing Hooker to tap seconds later. Makhachev didn't even break a sweat.
I feel very happy because I don't have injury, not sweating. I don't need to take shower after fights, you know. Very happy.
Makhachev also felt like it was his time for a title shot, but was prepared for whatever the UFC threw at him next.
Now I'm gonna be like number 4, 3, that's why I don't know. I'm ready for fight for the title. If they give me some other step, I'm ready for anyone.
So anyway, Makhachev's next fight wasn't a title shot, but instead another top contender in the form of Bobby King Green. And despite just badly humbling Hooker, Green too was about to show up with an even cockier attitude. Heading into their fight in 2022, Bobby Green ran his mouth a lot, calling Makhachev boring and throwing shade every chance he got.
With Islam, he does what he does, but to be honest, it's kind of boring. You know, even if you're getting finishes, it's still been boring. And so my whole thing is entertainment, excitement, you know? So he can be championship material, but it's just getting boring. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody cares. I fall asleep watching his fights.
On fight night, while the fight started off with some measured striking, it didn't take Makhachev long to do what he does best. He closed the distance, grabbed the clinch, and dragged Green down to the ground. From there, it was a one-sided beatdown as Makhachev smothered him with relentless pressure and ground and pound until the ref stepped in to stop the fight, giving Makhachev the first round TKO finish. Green was initially in awe of Makhachev's strength and technical prowess.
He's so patient. He's so strong, and he just goes little, and a little until he gets right where he wants to be. And he was so strong at holding his mount. I was like, interesting. I could try to get and turn. I couldn't move out of it. I'm like, no one's been that strong before, so.
However, after having some time to think about it, Green decided that Makhachev's inhuman strength was due to the use of steroids.
I told my coach the same thing. There was something interesting about Islam, and I felt it. I'm like, it's just not human. It makes sense. If I could do drugs, like, because our countries are different. Russia's been banned for the Olympics, you know? Their country's a little bit more okay with the drug use. We're under strenuous drug stuff over here. And so it makes sense to me. Now I wonder why those Dagestanians were winning so much. They've been bred to do this. That's why I could train a 9-year-old against a bear.
After yet another dominant win and now 10-fight win streak, Makhachev was booked for his first title shot against Charles Oliveira at UFC 280. Oliveira was also on an 11-fight winning streak himself, on the back of huge wins against names like Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, and Justin Gaethje. But Makhachev knew deep down that he was cut from a different cloth.
He know Islam Makhachev very hard fight for him. Honestly, my style bad for him because, you know, he always pressure his opponent because nobody tried to take him down. All these guys lost his opponent, scare his ground game, but I don't care about his ground game. I don't care about his grappling.
Makhachev was confident that he wouldn't have any trouble taking down and dominating Oliveira, even though he held the record for the most submissions in UFC history.
What if you can't take him down? What if you can't take him down?
Exactly. That's my question.
I'm gonna take him down very, very fast.
Despite Makhachev being the fight favorite, Charles Oliveira was undeniably the fan favorite heading into their fight.
Olha só, pode perguntar para todos, quem é o campeão? Gotta ask everyone, who's the champ?
The Brazilian was sure he'd finish the job quickly.
I'm going to do my job, and that's to knock out Islam Makhachev in the first round.
Inside the cage, only one man proved his words true. Makhachev took control from the first bell, outstriking Oliveira and then dominating him on the ground with constant pressure. In the second round, Makhachev dropped Oliveira before locking in an arm triangle choke, forcing Oliveira to tap out, securing the lightweight title in the process.
Knockdown from Makhachev.
He's got the arm triangle. Oh, this is
Islam Makhachev submits Charles Oliveira to win the title.
If anyone had any doubts about Makhachev before, they were completely blown away.
Islam Makhachev was sensational tonight. Proved me wrong, proved a lot of people wrong. Of course, he came in as the favorite, but a lot of people thought Charles Oliveira would win.
Islam Makhachev must have the most incredible squeeze. His squeeze must be out of this world. Because you see how quick Charles tapped once he clamped that on him. I mean, poof.
And immediately after becoming champion, Makhachev called out featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski, who was in attendance, to come up a weight class to face him as the first challenger.
Now is our plan, fly all the way to Australia and fight in pound for pound king backyard.
And Volk was up for the challenge.
Let's do it. Hey, the lightweight on the line, pound for pound number 1 on the line. Let's do it.
Just like that, Makhachev's first title defense was scheduled, and Volkanovski was about to give him his toughest test to date. Heading into their clash at UFC 284, Makhachev was brutally dismissive of Volkanovski's wrestling skills and his ability to compete at lightweight.
Islam,
A lot has been made of what this win would mean if Alex got it. I'm curious, you know how good you are. If he beats you this weekend, could he be considered the greatest of all time?
It's not possible because I am the champion and we fight 150 fight. This is not his area. This is other power, other division. I'm gonna beat him easy.
Volkanovski was the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world at that time, but Islam knew who the true king of the jungle was.
Do you believe Alex Volkanovski is the #1 fighter in the world, or is it just the ranking he has right now?
No, I believe he is the best fighter in the world right now in the rankings, of course. But I know I'm the best fighter, best MMA fighter, because I have all skills. Striking, wrestling, grappling, I'm a best MMA fighter, I believe.
Not just Islam, but many pros also believed that Islam's fight IQ and wrestling would be too much for the Aussie to handle.
There's nothing Alexander could do because of what the sport of wrestling has taught Islam. Like if you guys, I competed in Dagestan. I've been humbled in Dagestan.
Inside the cage, Volkanovski showed why he's one of the best in the world as he pushed Makhachev to his limits. Round after round, Volk stuffed Makhachev's takedowns, but still, Makhachev did manage to get some through, to which Volk fended off any serious damage following them. And while many expected Volk to shine on the feet, Makhachev didn't just match him, he sometimes outstruck him. Despite a late scare in the 5th, Makhachev's strategic striking and sheer durability were enough to earn him a hard-fought, unanimous decision win. Volk was also the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world heading into the fight, so now that Makhachev had beat him, he had taken that crown.
Doesn't matter how I won today, and now I'm not just champion, I'm best fighter in the world, and you know I am very happy.
Alex,
now people gonna call me not just champ, best fighter in the world. Doesn't matter how I won, I'm very happy.
Volk was humble in defeat, but adamant for a rematch.
What do you do? Credit to him. Well-rounded, yeah. I underestimated his striking, he underestimated my wrestling and stuff like that, so what do you do? His eye's not too bad. He's got a good eye. His distance isn't too bad. Again, I could have capitalised more, man. Even in the... Yeah, I guess I was just expecting him to be a bit more relentless in the shots. Yeah, I've got to watch that fight back. Can rematch. Let's go. Wait.
Again, I've got to watch the fight back, and I don't want to sound sour or anything like that. So, I'm not that type of guy, again, because I could have done more, so I'm going to always blame myself. But if the people want a UFC want it and Islam wants it, I want it.
While the reactions were mixed, many felt Makhachev demonstrated the striking ability everyone knew he was capable of.
Islam Makhachev though, this guy, the striking was phenomenal, let's be honest. Laser accurate striking.
So anyway, Volkanovski wasn't given the immediate rematch, as it was instead given to Charles Oliveira for UFC 294. However, that quickly changed as Oliveira pulled out just 11 days before the fight, and Volkanovski stepped up to the challenge once again. But this would be a decision that Volk would later badly regret. Just 10 months later, when the two faced once again, Volk was confident that this time round, he'd get the job done.
This being short notice, and me, it's going to be an exciting one too. So obviously I want to go out there and I want to hurt him, and we'll try and make sure it doesn't go 5 rounds. I want to finish it early. I plan on knocking him out.
Volkanovski promised to go for the kill this time around.
They know what's happening. Like, I ain't here to play it safe. I can't afford to play it safe. I'm going in for the kill and that's it. You know what I mean? So it's kill or be killed, and that's that.
Makhachev had similar intentions.
Last time I beat him 4 rounds, just last round he won. I just give him chance to last minute. But this fight, everything is gonna change. I want to finish him and finish all this talk about this fight.
When the cage door shut at UFC 294, Makhachev was a man on a mission. He wasted no time landing a series of body kicks before delivering a perfectly placed head kick, knocking Volkanovski out cold in just 3 minutes.
Position.
Head kick. The oldest trick in the book. Go low, go high. And it worked. it worked a treat.
Anybody at 55, I don't. Who beats that guy?
Congratulations, you've got some ice there on your shin. Is that from throwing the kick?
This guy real nuts, you know, his head so hard. People underestimated my striking, but I told I can strike with anyone. This guy, one of the best striker in the UFC, and I just show my level, you know. I am not just wrestler, I am not just grappler. I always training. I am an MMA fighter, and people have to know I am the best MMA fighter in the world right now.
Volkanovski was emotional in defeat, but admitted that he shouldn't have taken the fight on short notice.
You know, I don't want to sit there and obviously make excuses, you know what I mean? So, you know, obviously I'm a big believer in preparation and stuff like that, but you know, I back myself. So that's the decision I made, you know what I mean? You know, I could have made better decisions but you know, again, like he's not somebody you should be taking a short notice with, but I needed it.
And just after Makhachev had proven once again why he was the best fighter in the world, he got booked against Dustin Poirier, which would end up being one of the most exciting fights for both of their careers. Heading into his third title defense against Dustin Poirier at UFC 302, Makhachev was oozing with confidence, fully believing he could out-wrestle Poirier just like his mentor Khabib Nurmagomedov had done at UFC 242. But still, Makhachev admitted that fighting a legend like Dustin Poirier was a dream for him.
It's my dream, fight someone like Dustin, who have big name in these sports. And I'm very happy because he is gonna be in my list.
Despite the respect he had for Dustin, the Dagestani felt his grappling would be too much for him to handle.
You know, honestly, I think I am the best fighter in the world right now. That's why it's gonna be a bad day for Dustin. He's have problem with the wrestlers always, and I will give him the problem.
Poirier wasn't bothered by Makhachev's trash talk. He believed that his vast experience in the sport would be the key to him getting through the fight and proving his worth inside the cage.
I've done more in the sport of mixed martial arts than he has. I've been around a long time. I was doing this before it was cool, and I'm still here. You know, I'm still here doing it at the highest level. I could beat anybody in the world, and I hope he's next.
Poirier was oozing with confidence heading into the fight, and he was willing to put it all on the line as this was likely his final chance at gold.
Because I can definitely win this fight. You know, if I touch his chin, he'll go down. And he'll find that out on Saturday. You know, maybe that's something he doesn't need to believe. Maybe he needs to be positive and be confident walking into this, which he should be. But if you don't think I have a chance to win, you're lying to yourself.
In the pre-fight press conference, there was clear respect between Makhachev and Poirier.
He declared himself the best fighter in the world. Do you believe that he is the best fighter in the world right now?
We're going to find out Saturday, but half a pound #1, current world champion, seems like it to me, but I'm going to find out. I'll be the judge of that.
However, the mood quickly changed.
And Islam, yesterday at Media Day, you told us that you don't think Dustin or his coaches believe that he can beat you. What did you see or pick up on or hear from him that made you say that?
Man, I say truth. He always look good when he fight with some striking guys like Conor or Chandler or someone like this, you know, who always focus to the striking. But when he meet with some wrestlers, he always have trouble. That's why he don't believe.
He should listen to his coaches and box like they're telling him to. Do that, Islam. Let's box.
This is not boxing. This is MMA, man.
Well, you're going to sleep like it's boxing.
We'll see, we'll see. If you're not top, you will sleep.
Inside the octagon, Poirier shocked many with his takedown defense, which held up much better than expected. This forced Makhachev to stand and exchange strikes with one of the most seasoned boxers in the UFC. But Islam wasn't backing down. He put up a great striking battle with Poirier, landing several clean shots and proving that he could hold his own in the striking department. In the 5th round, Makhachev caught Poirier's foot, spun him into a perfect position, and locked in a D'Arce choke to secure the submission victory. After the fight, Poirier had nothing but respect for Makhachev, praising him as being just as good as the undefeated and undisputed lightweight legend Khabib Nurmagomedov.
It was everything I thought it was going to be. I feel like I could have did more. I said that in the Khabib fight as well. I could have picked up the volume, took more chances on the feet. He was just similar to Khabib, moving weird. His cadence was weird. His head movement was weird. When he would commit to the pocket, he would exit weird. My shots just weren't there to land. I was just telling him he's the champ. You know, congrats. You earned this. You're the best in the world.
With most of the lightweight division out of the equation, only #1 contender Arman Tsarukyan seemed to have the tools to challenge Islam Makhachev for the title. But when Tsarukyan pulled out of UFC 311 due to injury, Renato Moicano stepped up on 24 hours notice to attempt to pull off an upset of a lifetime. With just a day to prepare, Moicano was in classic form on the mic, firing shots at Makhachev every chance he got.
Last time he said that I would lose to Jalen Turner, and I beat the out of Jalen Turner. And guess what? Maybe I'm beating this motherfucker too. Let's see.
Islam Makhachev, my brother. Tomorrow I come for you, and I'm coming for the belt. Let's fucking go. We are right here, right now. Los Angeles, California. Look at that city, my brother. Look at that place. And tomorrow, that place will be my city. This is Money Moicano Town now. And tomorrow, I will be the champion.
However, the short notice challenge proved way too much for Moicano. Makhachev dragged him to the mat, smothered him with trademark pressure, and then wrapped things up with a D'Arce choke, submitting Moicano just 4 minutes into round 1.
Islam Makhachev was defending the belt. Turns out he's still the champion, but he's also the greatest lightweight fighter that the UFC has ever seen. A record of 28-1, 4 title defenses. No one's ever done it, and he took out Renato Moicano in the very first round.
Islam Makhachev is truly like a final boss in a video game. He is well-rounded, ice-cold under pressure, and nearly impossible to beat. Is there anyone who can beat him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel and check out times where cocky UFC fighters got completely humbled by their opponents.